Hello dear learners, I am Professor M. Asumraza from Department of Library Information Science, AMU Aligarh. In the previous lecture we have seen how the acquisition section works, and we have already discussed the collection development policy, procedures, and how acquisition section is literally selecting the books, how they are managing acquisition of books by different modes, and how the final payment is made. But one more thing is important here, is while we are doing all the process, we need to understand that simultaneously some records are also generated, and some processes are which needs proper documentation. So in this lecture I will emphasize on the process, procedure, documentation and records basically. So here the main record of acquisition section is accession register. We will see what the accession register is, what is the format of accession register, and we will try to see the purpose of accession register, and we will see what are the different fields in the accession register, and I will try to show you some images of the acquisition module. I have taken ellipsis, but almost in any other software you will find almost similar modules without any difference, and even if there is a slight differences there, the interpretation or the meaning remains the same. So coming to the accession register, because since we have completed all the records and we have accessioned the document, means we have literally entered the complete bibliographic information in a register that is called as accession register. So this accession register is a master record, you can say, of all the holdings of the library, and every document is going to get a unique number, and that unique number is nothing else but that unique number is basically the serial number against which the document has been entered. So, and that becomes very important, is just like your enrollment or ID, that anybody, just for example I can tell you that just suppose this Aadhaar is a unique identity and everybody is having a unique number. That number is unique for every individual. So in the similar manner, almost in the similar manner, every document will get a unique number. In any case, the document, that unique number will not be duplicated, and that number is not given to any other document. So that uniqueness is the beauty of the documentation process, and basically this what it means, I'll just elaborate it. Basically, the accession register serves as a comprehensive record of all the materials acquired by the library, and each entry typically includes details such as the accession number, title, your author, oblique editor. If the document is edited one, then one has to enter the editor, then publication date, publisher, edition, format. Format means the book is it's a book or a journal or a DVD, and any other relevant information. This register helps librarians manage the library's collection effectively, track acquisitions and provide accurate information to library users about available resources. It also aids in inventory management, collection development decisions and preservation efforts. The standard size of an accession register is 16 inches into 13 inches. Additionally, the accession register aids in stock verification and shelf rectification by providing a comprehensive record of the library's acquisitions, enabling the identification of missing or misplaced items. So it is the permanent record of the library. Then coming to the purpose of accession register, and three important purposes you can see here. One is identification, second is security, and third is record keeping. So maintaining accession register in serial order is a common practice in the libraries, ensures systematic organization and easy retrieval of information. Each book being assigned a single accession number helps in uniquely identifying and tracking it within the library's collection. Reproducing the accession number on various pages within the book, such as the back of the title page, a secret page, and the last page, along with the copies of relevant documents like bills and cash memos, serves multiple purposes. The first primary purpose of accession register is identification. Identification, having accession number printed on multiple pages of the book, facilitates quick identification and verification of book's accession details. Number 2, security. Printing the accession number on the secret page adds an additional layer of security, as this number is known only to library staff. It helps in preventing unauthorized alterations or tampering with book's accession information. And third most important purpose is record keeping. Record keeping, basically, it is reproducing the accession number on bills and cash memos. This ensures proper documentation of the book's acquisition details and helps in financial record keeping. Let me tell you one more thing. It is not mandatory that we will have only one accession register. You can have multiple accession registers, and in a library we can have different accession registers on the basis of language or maybe on the basis of acquisition, because acquisition, again, we have different types of acquisition. It can be acquisition simply by purchase, or it can be acquisition by gift, or acquisition by exchange. So in this case we can have different accession registers depending upon the mode of accession, mode of acquisition. And second most important is we can have on the basis of languages also, we can have separate accession registers. So this is not a limitation that we should have only one accession registers. We can have multiple accession registers depending on how you want to organize the collection and how you want to keep the record of the documents which we are acquiring. So here you can see I am trying to show you the format of accession register. Means you will in a register especially you will find all these fields. The fields are, you can see the fields of the library accession register, you can see they are date. This refers to the date when the item was acquired or added to the library's collection. It helps in tracking the timeline of acquisitions. The second field is accession number. This is a unique identifier assigned to each item in the library's collection. It helps in easily locating and tracking specific items. Third, you can see it is author. This field captures the name of the author or creator of the item, and this provides attribution to the individual responsible for its content. Next field is title. This refers to the name of the title of the item and as a title of the book, journal or audiovisual material. Next information is about the publication information. This includes details such as publisher's name, the place where the item was published. Next item, which is there in the accession register, that is edition. The field indicates the specific edition or version of the item. For books, a first edition, second edition, revised edition, etc. That needs to be mentioned there. For journals or periodicals, it could refer to the issue number and volume number. Next is year. This records the year of publication of the item. Knowing the publication year helps the user and librarians understand the historical context of the material and determines its relevance. Next field is pages. For books, this field indicates the total number of pages contained within the item. It helps user estimate the length and depth of the content. Next field is volume. In this case, the multi-volume work series or sets. This field specifies the number of volumes included. Then the next field is source. This field documents the origin or acquisition source of the item, and it could include information on whether the item was purchased from a vendor, donated by an individual or organization, or acquired through an exchange program. So here we can specify the source. Otherwise, as I told you, we can have separate accession registers. One can be simply meant for purchases, second can be for gifts, and third can be for donations. And even for the languages also, we can have separate accession registers. Here this needs to be very clearly understood. If you have one, then you have to specify in the source field by what means one is acquiring the source, or a library, by what means the library is acquiring the source. And then the next field is bill number and date. This includes the bill number associated with the acquisition transaction as well as the date of the bill. It helps in financial record keeping and tracking expenditures. Then another field is cost. This records the cost associated with acquiring the item, which is important for budgeting and financial management purposes. Then the next field is call number. The call number of a book is composed of two parts, the class number and the book number. So this needs to be entered in the accession register. And the last column in the accession register is remarks. This allows for any additional comments or notes about the item, such as its condition, special features, or any other relevant information that may assist library staff or users. So these are the different fields of accession register. We have seen the accession register normally contains 14 items, but as per the performa given by the GFR 2017, this, according to the financial rules, accession register contains 15 columns. So that you can see here in this column, the class number and book number has been segregated, and this is how it becomes, the rest of the columns remains the same, and this is how it becomes 15 as per the GFR rules 2017. Then I'll show you how these softwares are doing it. So I picked up the example of Ellipsis 10, and especially when you are entering the records in the acquisition, records of the item purchased, procured, or acquired by any means. When you are entering in the acquisition module, what you will see is you will have these items in front of you. You have to enter the title, then approval process, you have to how place order, receiving, last recovery, invoice processing, budget, queries, record keeping, reports, housekeeping, system setup, online searches. This is how your acquisition module looks like. In any software, in a library software especially, whether it is a proprietary software or it is a free software, you will have at least all these columns to be filled up. So then you can see when you are entering the title, this is one by one we are taking up. When you are entering the title, you have to enter all this. You have to enter the data, then gift or ad hoc, and the review on the user request. So titles on the user request, you have to list all the titles, update the title details, and then data has to be imported. Finally, when it comes for approval process, so approval process, again, these are the things, these are the processes which you have to complete, especially when you are doing maintaining the record, especially in the software. You have to request to the vendor, make a request to the vendor, list for approval, and then a status update you have to do, and then the return items. This is the approval process, includes all these steps. Then for placing order, what is important here is the third step in the software. You can see when you have to place the order, you have to develop the order first, then list order, and then the titles for ordering, whatever titles you have decided now, and then overdue notice. Means normally what if overdue notice will only be effective if it crosses the normal delivery time. If the normal delivery is 15 days or 1 month, if the vendor is not able to supply within 15 days or maybe 1 month, whatever has been stipulated as per the agreement, if he is not able to supply, then only the overdue notices will be activated. So if you have received, then automatically it will go to the next part, next segment, that is receiving. So for invoice processing, means once you have received, then invoice that needs to be processed, means first step in the invoice processing is accessioning. So accessioning basically where you will enter the complete record in the accession register. So what all elements you have seen in the accession register, those all items are there in the software also. You have to enter all those details, means all 15 items what we have seen, right from date to remarks. All those 15 items need to be entered, and then the payment request, and if the request has been updated, then you have to update it that the payment has been made or it is in the process. Whatever the step is there, that software will show you exactly. You have to feed it accordingly, and then the status will be clear that the payment has been processed or it is still in processing. The next segment in this software is budget. So budget, basically what it is doing is it will list all the titles and expenditure analysis is there. So how much payment has been made, because regarding the procurement, the title, once you finalize the titles, how much it is going to cost you, what will be the applicable discount, all that is a part of agreement. Because whatever method you have adopted for purchasing the books, so once the books are purchased, so whether by tender system or by quotation system or by any other method which we have seen, whether it is by books on approval basis or directly you are buying from fair or buying from by any procedure, so the vendor is bound by the agreement. So there is always a agreement between the library and the vendor. So he knows the terms and condition, and the library also knows the condition laid down by the vendor. When both the parties understand each other's terms and condition, it becomes easy for them to negotiate. And when it is agreeable for both the parties, then only the process starts. So you know how much discount you will be getting. So once you know how much discount you will be getting, you know that what your budget constraints, how much you can spend it, how much you have, how much was sanctioned, under which head it was sanctioned, how much has been paid, and how much is left. So all those expenditure analysis part you will be able to see in the budget section. So all the titles listed, how much you have spent, how much you have made the payment, and what is the remaining amount. And then you have queries also. Queries, it can be related to titles, it can be related to orders, it can be invoices or vendor, whatever is there, you can raise the queries from here. Because one more step important is when you receive the items in the library, because once you have ordered it, the vendor will supply you those orders. And when the vendor will supply the orders, the first and foremost thing in the library is first try to match all your transaction, all your whatever you have consignment you have received, you try to match each and every item with the order, and try to see that the complete bibliographic information is same what you have ordered, because there should not be any difference that we are receiving something, ordering something and receiving something. There should not be this kind of ambiguity. So before finalizing or before processing or before accessioning, first try to just match the received items and the items whatever has been ordered. So just keep both the things in front of you and see what has been ordered. Means you have to match each and every item, means title, author, and then edition, all those prominent items that you have to check, publisher, all those things you can cross check it and again. That is also known as tallying. Do the tallying. If everything matches, well and good, book is intact, there is no distortion, no you can say mutilation, and no missing pages are missing, everything is intact, then you can start the processing. And the processing is, first you start with accessioning, and once accessioning starts, means now you have started owning the book. And once you complete the accessioning and you process it for the financial payment, for the financial transaction, means for making the payment, so that means it is your document now. But if it is not going as per the set procedure, means if you have any queries related to the orders, related to invoices, related to any vendor, so those queries can be raised here from here. Then one more important thing is that acquisition section I told you, it is doing the job of record keeping also. We have seen the purpose, and among the purpose, record keeping is one of the important purpose of acquisition section, because ultimately whatever we are acquiring, the complete record is available only with acquisition section. Although things are entered in different software, records are maintained, but at least truly if you want to get the information about how many and what type of books and how many books on a particular subject, all those records will be available in the acquisition section. And the very handy record is Accession Register. But just looking at the Accession Register, you can ascertain how many or what is the total collection. And if you are maintaining a segregated accession register, so you can within no time you can get the information how many total books have been acquired by purchase, how many has been gifted, and how many has been acquired through exchange. So it becomes easy. And if you are maintaining your accession register by language, so within no time you can ascertain, immediately you can ascertain how many books we have on certain languages. For English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Persian, Urdu, we can within no time we can ascertain how many books we are having on a particular language. So these are the benefits of doing it. But in a software it is easy. Again, you can randomly, if you want to search it, how many books on certain language, that you can do it, how many books through gift, because if you are entering all the items in the software, how many books you have procured or acquired through gift, that also within no time it will give you the total number of books. You want the detailed complete bibliographic details, that also you can get it. You can pull out all those things within no time. And you want to ascertain it, how many books you have acquired through exchange, that also when you go just literally search it, all the books which have been acquired through exchange programs, that also you will be able to pull out that list. So it is very handy when you are using the software also. And same is true for the hard copy of the accession register also. So one important thing is record keeping, where you have the record of the vendor also. You have the block vendor, budget heads, under from which head you are making the payment, then currencies, then exchange rates. So those things are also quite applicable in the accession, especially in the acquisition section. Earlier there was a provision that the payment, whatever the payment has to be made, if it is any foreign document, because that is a part of the agreement. If it is a foreign document, the payment will be made according to the rates which have been decided by the GOC, that is Goods Officers Committee. So either both the parties, both library as well as the vendor, they should be ready to accept the GOC rates. And if it is not acceptable to anyone, then in that case the bank rates which are you can say on a particular day, just suppose the day we are ordering or the day you are receiving the consignment, if you decide on that, okay, the day we have ordered, whatever the rates will be applicable on that particular day, so we will clarify from the bank, and whatever the rates will be applicable for the dollar or euros or whatever the currency may be, so that will be applicable for preparing the bills and all that. So the currency and exchange rate, that has to be decided. Then budgets, item condition, what is the condition, then GST, and then approving authorities, and then the notices text, accession details, order cancellation. If order cancellation only comes in picture, just suppose if the vendor is not able to supply within the normal period, then one can wait till the grace period. Grace period is given to the vendor, and if he is not able to supply within the grace period, then normally it is assumed that he is not interested in supplying. So the order automatically gets cancelled, and once it is cancelled, then you can look for another vendor, because you have the inventory of vendors. You can if you want to block any vendor, you can block the vendor also, and then you have an option of blocking the vendor also. So you can block the vendor also if you know that he's not you can moving according to the agreement, or he is not doing things as per the agreement. So you can block the vendor and you can choose the next vendor, and the next vendor, again the similar process will start for the next vendor also. So you can place the order to the next vendor. So, and when you are cancelling the order, you have to give reasons also. So all those things are available in the software. All options are available. What you normally you are doing on pages of paper or records on a paperwork, those same things, similar things you will find in the software also. So here again you have to update the subject and class number also. Then member, especially member of a set, members, information about the members, who are the indenters information, banks, the vendor blacklist reason. If you are blacklisting any vendor, what are the reasons for that? That also you have to mention. And then vendor rating setup, that can be entered, mark for digitalization, and send for digitalization, or release for cataloging. If things are over in your acquisition section, then the document has to be sent to the technical section for cataloging and classification. And if anything is for the donors, that information can be entered, and if it is a donor category, those information can be entered here in the software. Then it is having the information about the reports also. So within reports, you can see is a lengthy list of all the items, because all types of reports are necessary just to see that things are moving smoothly. So titles in the acquisition, requested titles, what the titles for approval, all those things are to be entered. Then approval form, and you have all the reports you can generate when you fill up all those things as per the order. As per the order we have seen, if you fill up all those things, so these type of reports will be generated. What collect notices will be there, titles for ordering, order form is there, vendors directory is there, and payment sanction request, the payment request is there, payment status request, what is the status right now, that is there. Then check delivery notice, if it has been delivered to the vendor, that information is also entered here, so the check has been delivered. And overdue notice, that is very selective. Overdue notice to all the titles, if whatever he is supplying, if he is able to supply the selective titles, then is okay. If he is not able to supply, then information automatically, the information or the mail goes to the vendor. And then you have accession register and invoice register request to the vendor, titles by control number. That is also the acknowledgement letters are there, supply order is there, approved titles, sanction form, order amendment is there. If you want to change at any point of time, then you have to fill up the order amendment. So that information will also be part of the report. Then you have expenditure analysis, and then order list is there, then receipt of vouchers are there, and the titles for donation. And so all this information will be there in the acquisition module. So especially in the housekeeping, you can see the housekeeping will also contain certain process, especially in the software. So the important steps in the housekeeping is that remove the records, flush out approval forms, flush out order forms, import vendor data, and remove requested titles, then flush out items in acquisition. So these are some of the steps involved in the housekeeping. And then you have the system setup. Two options in the system setup, that is system setup and system options. So these are the two options which you can exercise in the ellipsis. So the complete record of acquiring a document by whatever mode, whether it is a tender system or it is simply by purchase by the quotation system, or by books on approval basis, or you are directly buying from a book fair, or with the help of any tool, either through the publisher's catalog, you are simply ordering it, either through the publisher's catalog, bibliographies, or whatever it may be. All that process with complete bibliographic details has to be entered in the accession register. That is a very comprehensive record of the library. You enter all the details, and then automatically the technical section or the processing section, because once you fill up it in the acquisition section, and the moment the document is transferred to the technical section, means half of the job means till acquisition, the class number and the book number and all the accession number with all titles and all the details, who the vendor is, against what bill number the payment has been made, against what check number the payment has been made. All those details are just filled up in the acquisition, and when it is transferred to the technical section, at least it becomes easy job for the people in the processing section to process rest of the details. Means they can enter the records or enter the details which are not available, especially related to a document. So this is how we have seen how the acquisition of books is done, and from here we will move to the next section, that is processing section or the technical section. So technical section will be basically responsible for classification of documents, cataloging of documents, and then basic preparation of the books by labeling, pasting, and all those things will be done in the processing section.